Okay, all right. Obviously, huge game for us at home. I really like where our team's at. We had a very good win against Texas A&M, and probably the thing that stood out to me most about that win is the way that we handled adversity. I felt like we handled adversity better in that game we handled it any game this year, and that's always good moving forward, especially get down to the end and play very talented teams. Obviously, playing a very talented team in Georgia. Defensively, you look at all their players are very good players at each position. Statistically speaking, they're one of the best defenses in the country. They're very good against the run. They're very good on third downs, and they're good at what they do. Offensively, they run the football, and they're very good at it. Obviously, with their two running backs and their offensive line, they do a super job. I feel like their young quarterback has done a very good job, managing the offense and throwing the football. I think they're number one in the country in red zone offense. They're one of the best in third down conversions, and that obviously when you run the football that helps. But overall, a very good team. This is a game that we've been looking forward to. Obviously, last year was a extremely tough loss. The fact that they won the game and didn't have an offensive touchdown, and so this is one we've been waiting on. I know our players and our coaches are excited about it, and it's a great opportunity, for us and for our program playing one of the best teams on our home field. Questions?
You obviously know your struggles against Georgia the last few years. You said Saturday that every year is different. You've said that a lot this year. What is different about your team this year compared to last year at this time?
Yeah. Every year is different. I will say this: we are healthier as a team. I will say this: that our starting quarterback's healthy, and so I can't say that the last 2 years. So feel good about where we're at going this game. I think we're getting a lot of our defensive guys healthier too, and so like I said, each year is different, and this is our team has a little bit different mindset than it had last year.
Coach, last week you said that the players were aware of the big picture going into the month with what's still in front of you, with what you guys can achieve these next few weeks. How much do you embrace that?
I think you got to embrace the fact that you're playing number one or number two team in the country on your home field. We still, our goal is to win the SEC championship, and it has been from day one. And this is the next step, and it's a great opportunity for us. And so it's a big game. Now we're not looking any farther ahead than Saturday, but this is a game we've been looking forward to. It's here, and there's a lot to play on the line for it, and it's a good one.
You talked about your offensive line for this week.
Yeah, I'm going to say this again. I mean, I don't think I've ever experienced this many new faces and new guys up front, and it's a tribute to those guys that we've been as successful running the football and even throwing it and protecting with the new lineups. Everybody we're expecting to practice today. We may not know exactly what that means, who's going to start and all that until we get to Thursday or Friday. I know those guys, the two that we had to pull out in the game. I know they're great competitors. I know they want to play this week. They're going to do everything in their power to do that. But we'll just see where that goes. But it's just a blessing that we have quality depth up front.
How did your two sophomores on the left side play after they came?
I thought they did a good job. I mean, that was the same two that played very well against Arkansas. I thought both of them did some very good things, against A&M. And like I said, A&M's got a pretty good front.
How did Tega important specifically, Gus, because the lineup changed so many times over the weeks after Clemson?
Yeah.
How did they change from that game where they struggled? I know Darius struggled too, but even all three of them, how did all three of them change from that game over the next 5
Yeah, James, a lot of it had to do with experience. When you're young and inexperienced, especially up front, and you play a very talented team, the experience does nothing but help you. And so that's probably the best way to answer that, because it's really as simple as that. Just the more experienced young guys get against good opponents, the better they get.
Coach, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Just moving forward from that Clemson game, what do you most credit factors with kickstarting this offense?
I think it's our players. Our players, this is a players' game, and they bought into what Chip's doing, and you can see them getting more confidence each week, and they've improved and they've been balanced.
Coach, watch a team like Georgia play and going throughout the season just from the eye test. Obviously, they haven't had to throw the ball as much because they've had so much success with the running game. As far as defensively scheming for a team like this, obviously without giving too much away, is the mindset defensively shut down the run and try to force that young freshman quarterback back to take a little bit more responsibility on his shoulders?
You know, they're pretty efficient when they throw it too, you know, but I think just from a coach's standpoint, no matter what it is, you got to try to stop what they do best. I mean, even if they threw the ball, you'd have to stop throwing, but they actually run the football very well, and so obviously that's where it starts. But they are efficient throwing the football, and like I said earlier, that's probably been the most impressive thing is the way that he's protected the football, and he's been on the money on some of those throws, specifically in the red zone, and been very accurate.
Coach, what similarity do you see between how Kirby is coaching this Georgia team to what Kirby probably got from coaching at Alabama?
He's different. There's some similarities, but he has his own way of doing things defensively. That's a little bit different than when he was at Alabama, but you know that's to be expected.
Darius, special teams, and it seems like different facets of it kind of broken down over the last 3 games. But what are you doing to try to kind of mend that?
Yeah, well, I think it starts with our kickoff team. You know, we've got to do a better job. 2 weeks in a row, we gave a touchdown and then an explosive return that led to a touchdown. So, we're doing a couple different things different, and really that's where it starts in special teams.
Darius Slayton's had a couple of big games, big receptions downfield. What's been the difference for him in the last couple of weeks?
You know, he's been healthy. He got hurt the very first game, and it took probably a month before he could get, his legs back underneath him to be close to 100%. And what you're seeing now is a guy that is healthy. We felt like he would be in a good spot to have a good year coming into the year, but that hurt us when he got hurt that first game. And he's playing with a lot of confidence now, and I think Jared has a lot of confidence in him too.
Just to carry on, now durability has always been a question throughout his career. It was even early this season, but for the last 6 games for him to average 25 carries, for you to have to lean on him as much as you have, and for him to succeed at this level, what does this say about answering some of those questions about durability that have been there throughout his career this point?
Yeah, I mean, KJ is one of our best players. You can see the way he plays. He's a physical runner. He's a very smart player. He's been protecting the ball outstanding. And that fourth quarter, he willed his way on that last drive. And the special ones have that, and he's definitely in that category of the special running backs that we've had here.
Yes, Cam got some difficult carries.
Mm-hmm.
There, so just talk about how you felt like you did, and did you earn some more?
Yeah, there's no doubt. He did a very good job of running the football. I thought he ran hard. He protected the football. You'll see him more and more. We have a lot of confidence in Cam, and you'll see him more and more carrying it.
Guys, when you have so many guys on this roster from Georgia, and you have so many seniors on this roster that haven't beaten Georgia, do you have to worry about them, getting too high on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday before you play?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's an important game. You're exactly right. The state of Georgia, we recruit extremely hard. A lot of our players are from there, and it's a very important game. About getting too high and all that. I mean, our guys are going to be ready. Their guys are going to be ready. It makes this game special because of that. But like we were talking about earlier, this is a new year, and it's a great opportunity for us. And like I said, we're playing at home in front of the best fans in college football, and I know our fans are going to be ready, and it's going to be a real good one.
It seems all the stuff that you guys have been through with the injuries and the tough losses, it's kind of remarkable that you guys are still in a position to kind of control your own fate, even in the playoffs, probably.
Yeah.
Is that something you want to embrace as a team?
I think so, because really, up to this point, nothing that got to this point has anything to do with this game. We control our own destiny. This is a huge game, obviously, and our guys are excited. They've earned the right to be here, in this moment. And so, just from a coach, a lot of times, how you get to a certain point and how you grow as a team. Like I said, the thing that stood out to me that I was very proud of last week is we handled adversity better than we've handled it any other time this year. We hadn't handled it great up to that point, and we did that. And so that is very encouraging moving forward, not just this game, but the rest of the year.
For you as a coach, do you believe this is one of the bigger games of your career, and why or why not?
I mean, we've won it. We've coached in SEC championships and national championships. It's a big game, but it's not about me. It's about our team. It's a great opportunity and a huge game for our team for this year. So I don't get into, for me personally, big games. I've been fortunate enough to coach in quite a few of them.
Yeah, it's just difficulty of facing a tandem like Chubb and
Yeah, I think because they can keep a fresh guy in there. When you're facing just one guy that's special, chance of him wearing down or whatever. But they got two guys, and they're very talented, and they can keep a fresh guy in there.
When you got Carry On playing the way he is right now, obviously he's an aggressive runner, and you don't want to tone that down. But do you ever talk to him about conserving himself and trying to make sure he gets to the finish line every single game?
Saturday we talked to him at the end of the first quarters, halftime, third quarter, always, and he's one of those young men that's very honest. He'll tell you the truth, how he feels, and we did the same thing with Trey Mason. We just communicate with him, and so it's really similar.
What type of senior years Braden Smith had?
Outstanding. I mean, Braden's one of our leaders up front, and consistently, I mean, he's the consistent guy that every week has played at an extremely high level, and he's one of our team leaders.
He was second team All-American last year. Think he's worthy of being first team?
No, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. He's one of the best offensive linemen in our league and in the country.
You mentioned the adversity. Why weren't you guys able to handle it earlier in the season? Did you identify a reason that Saturday was different?
Each team's different, and the different experiences you have, and each team reacts differently. You look, and we had some younger guys. We had a new coordinator. There's a lot of different factors, but you could see us kind of grow, and we've had some tough times this year. And when you go through tough times as a team, you either take the next step forward or you take the next step below. You see it every week in college football. Right now, college football landscape is different than it's ever been because of social media, because of SEC network, because all the talk and the positive and negative, and everything a kid reads, I mean, it goes in their mind. And so you either do one or the other. You never stay the same. And our team, we took the next step. And so I'm proud of where we're at. Like I was saying earlier, I said it twice, that last week we overcame adversity in a positive way. That's going to be really big moving forward, and it's going to be a big Saturday.
You pay attention to social media?
Huh?
You pay attention to what?
I do it for recruiting, but I know our players do, and that's real. And like I said, there's more opinions now in college football than ever before. And there's more this and that and managing that, and your team reads it. I mean, I think I said it about a month ago. I mean, that's real. It used to not be that way, 2 or 3 years. But now that there's so much negative controversy, like everything wants to be controversial. But from a coach's standpoint, you got your team, and you worry about your team and how can that team get better. So, like I said, I like where we're at. I like where we're at as a team. And I like the fact we've overcame some adversity, and I like the fact that we've had some tough times. There's a lot of teams out there that really hadn't experienced adversity yet. So I like where we're at.
How do you handle that with your team, the social media stuff, and what are some examples this year you've had to make sure?
Well, you be honest with your team, and all that matters is your team in this room and everything that goes with it.
Because TD Moultrie gets another sack Saturday. Is this a moment in the season where freshmen either hit a wall or they can go to the next?
We talked about that last week. We had our off week, and the freshmen are no longer freshmen, and they got extra work last week. Got to take that next step. He did that. He's a great example that did that and carried it over to the field. There's some other young guys that I felt like took the next step forward too. So that's real big also.
Yes, he's been a guy that's kind of jumped in there. I mean, that was early on in the game. He
Yeah.
played early against Arkansas. How much confidence continues to grow?
Yeah, he's playing very calm. He's got a great motor, and he's kind of one of those things we talked about experience early. There's nothing like experience, and the more experience you get, the more confident you get, especially if you're a young guy. And then if you have success on top of that, it really helps.
He's a guy that had very little experience as a pass rusher.
Yeah.
How crazy is it that you've seen him come on this strong?
Well, we knew he was very talented, and we knew that he had a nose for the football, when we were recruiting him. And so, Coach Steele and Coach Garner, they gave him reps rushing the passer, early in fall camp, and he has just grown and starting to play at a high level.
So how much do you feel like wins and losses are determined by what they read through social media or what?
Now, I didn't say wins and losses, but it's something you got to deal with, okay? Because, the power of what you read, whether it's true or not, it affects you, it affects everybody. It's real. And so, no, I mean, it's just something you got to manage.
Can you talk about Chandler Cox? It looks like he's having a good second half of the season.
Yeah, Chandler's one of those unsung heroes. I mean, I've said this every year that, when he's healthy and playing at a high level, he really makes us go. On three of our touchdowns that we had the other day, he was probably the key component, the block at the point of attack. That the other guys get the touchdown, and you read them on the paper or whatever, but he is the one that really got it going. So Chandler's playing at a high level, and he stayed pretty healthy this year, which is a big deal. This time last year, he wasn't.
When your offense has had so much success with the vertical passing game this season, how do you approach a team like Georgia that just doesn't give up?
Yeah, well, you got to figure out ways to do it. I mean, you got to figure out a way to make explosive plays on these guys. I mean, that's the challenge. And when they can stop the run and they can still play two safeties, it's tough. So you got to be balanced against a good team. The better, the more talented a defensive team is, the more important it is to be balanced. And that's the challenge.
Gus, we don't normally talk about a punter, but did Saturday Aiden prove to you that in a game this week that might be so critical in
Yeah.
that position, you can trust him?
No doubt. I mean, he may have been the MVP of the whole game. The fact that, one of our main goals is not let Christian Kirk beat us. And when they beat good teams, he usually has a lot to do with it. And the fact that it didn't have any return yards, I thought it was huge, and he came up big.
As you mentioned last year's game with Georgia and how it went down and that they didn't score an offensive touchdown. For your offense specifically, how much is last year brought up when the second half when there was no first downs and there's so many players back? Yes, the quarterback changed, yes, a couple of guys in the line changed, but a lot of those players are back who weren't able to have success in the second half. Just how much of that motivates?
It probably motivates the fact it was a tough loss. That's what motivates players. And the opportunity this year motivates players. We weren't overly healthy at that point, and we're a little more healthier. So you don't dwell on the specifics, but you can use things to motivate you. But the bottom line is the opportunity is what's before our players.
I just wanted to get your reaction to Jay Jacobs' announcement that he was going to resign as athletic director.
Yeah, I appreciate Jay giving me this opportunity. He hired me. As a head coach. He's done a lot for the university and loves Auburn. And, I wish him nothing but the best moving forward.